everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Bruce C. Goaltending Museum's Museum Relic Showcase. So yesterday we took a look at a single card break just to get the ball rolling for what our museum website, our museum showcase rather on YouTube is going to be all about. It's going to be box breaks and it's going to be lots of cool hockey memorabilia. Alright, so today we're showing off a really cool new piece. First view a lot of you have ever seen of it. Today our goalie showcase is Dan Blackburn. So we're going to try and be a lot less cringy than we used to be with our YouTube channel here. And we're going to discuss very briefly about the player themselves, a little bit about the story, a little bit about the memorabilia, and then we're going to go all over the jersey here, show you all the nice wear and tear to be had. It's going to be pretty nice. Pretty sure you'll like it. So as I said, this is a fantastic piece right here, belonging to a goalie named Dan Blackburn. He was a huge prospect coming out of the Kootenay Ice of the WHL, multi-time All-Star, goalie of the year for the main CHL, as well as the WHL itself. He pretty much made the Rangers train right out of training camp in 2001 there. Became, I believe at the time, the fifth youngest goalie to ever make his NHL debut. He was 18 years and 100 and some odd days at the time. In his first season there, he ended up appearing in 31 total games, getting 12 wins in the process. Not exactly the best numbers, but keep in mind, young goalies, they're often thrown into the reactor there, and on top of that, Rangers themselves weren't the greatest team anymore at that point. Their finest years were a little behind them then. They were redeveloping quite a bit. So the second season there, Blackburn was developing himself into a future number one goalie there. Mike Richter was winding down his career. All those concussions were beginning to take those tolls on him. So he had a lot more opportunities. However, Glenn Sather was noticing that he was beginning to get fatigued over many consecutive games. So instead of throwing Blackburn out to the Wolves per se, he actually acquired Mike Dunham to help alleviate some of that stress. So Dan Blackburn in his second year ended up appearing in 32 games, only recording 8 wins, but he did get his first career shutout during that time, and definitely showing glimpses of what could be for his career. So then the next season, he was poised to come in once again, fight for a full-time number one position. However, he ended up injuring himself during training camp there, lifting some weights, and then ended up hurting his shoulder during some on-ice scrimmages there. Ultimately, they checked out what was going on, and unfortunately, he ended up damaging a nerve in his left shoulder. What that meant was he wouldn't be able to play for the remainder of the season. He went to surgery to try and repair it in April of that year, I believe. And then what happened was the nerves in that arm, in that shoulder rather, did not recover. So the muscles in there begun to atrophy because of the dead nerves. So the unfortunate thing happened. He missed the entire season, and he was never able to use a goalie catching glove again because he was not able to bring up the arm to make that saving action. So he didn't want to give up his career just yet. Who would? He was only 21 years old at the time. He spoke with the New York Rangers equipment guy, and what they came up with was a 2-blocker system to work with there. And he tried this system out with Victoria Salmon Kings of the ECHL during the lockout year. Played in 12 games with them and did okay. Certainly good for someone with one arm, not as functional as the others. However, instead of wanting to fight through it and continuing to play, Dan Blackburn took the NHL's insurance payout and promptly retired from hockey after those 12 games. He was 22 years old at the time. So since then, he hasn't really been too much on the hockey radar. He has played in the 2012 alumni game with the Rangers and the Flyers, and then also in a KHL friendly game he played. So he played in 63 games in his NHL career, recorded 20 wins, 32 losses. Nothing to write home about, but these were two very early years in his career. The potential is definitely there. We could be talking about him the way we talk about Henrik Lundqvist now had he not been injured, but unfortunately we will never know. So, now that we've talked about the man a little bit and the unfortunate tale of his early retirement, let's take a look at the piece in a little bit more detail. Alright, so what you're looking at right now is a 2002-2003 season New York Rangers Set 2 away jersey. Dan Blackburn wore this sweater in 6 games, and he also backed up while wearing it in more than 10 games. So as you notice, there's a few puck marks throughout it. Quite nice and pronounced, especially on the white parts of the jersey there. Very nice. Very nicely stitched Rangers logo. Very huge pronounced black mark. Beautiful, isn't it? Very nice. A little bit of a staining on it, as well as a unrepaired laceration on it. Definitely a very, very stunning piece here. Let's get this jersey turned around. So, see the back of the jersey again, name nicely stitched on it. A very bright, vibrant color on the blue throughout it. Very nice puck mark on the red of the jersey. Really something. Some fantastic wear in the bottom of the number 1 on the rear of the jersey. Very nice. Let's take a look at the fight strap mentioned earlier in the main write-up about the piece that has some nice salt deposits. So I'll show you exactly what that means here in a second. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, so here's the opened up fight strap. See, there's a fair bit of a little grungy stuff on the outside. Those are your little salt deposits. A little bit of rust in there as well. Clear signs that it was used in a sweaty situation where the goalie was sweating, getting some of that salt out there, and jersey taking its little degradation from it. It's pretty cool, eh? So here's our first episode. Dan Blackburn. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and show us your support. This project is a long-term one, and I look forward to sharing these editions with every one of you. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.